And this is what you get when you actually start Blender. This is what you get. This is the screen. Now, what I would say about Blender personally is, you've had रजवाड़ी थालीज, राइट? एवरीवन, सबने ऐसी बड़ी बड़ी रजवाड़ी थालियां खाई है. तो ये ब्लेंडर में वैसे ही दिया हुआ है. इट हैज एवरीथिंग हियर. इफ यू एक्चुअली सी द स्क्रीन प्रॉपर्ली, you have file, edit, render, windows help, which we always have, but we also have layout, modeling, sculpting, UV editing, texture paint, shading, animation, rendering, compositing, and scripting, just present here in front of your eyes. And this is not even the half of it. So we don't have to get overwhelmed while doing this or understanding what to do with this. What we will focus on as architects is basically how to get this little piece of cube into a parametric building, or something like a sculpture or something. So what we need for that is our main viewport. So this is our main viewport, and these are all the other viewports that are present in Blender right now. So all we need is 3D viewport, maybe animation nodes if we want, or dope sheet, a timeline, and a movie sequence editor. Not even that if you want. This texture node editor, and that's it. We don't need anything else as of now. So starting with meshes and boundaries, right? Here are the basic view options that we get. We get a rendered view, a solid view, a material preview, and a wireframe. So mostly everyone knows what a wireframe is. Everyone knows what a solid is. Now, material preview gives you all the materials that are applied to this little piece of mesh that we have. And rendered view gives you a proper render. Now, rendered view doesn't have anything as of now. And our render settings, we can access our render settings from here. These are our properties. These are the properties of the cube. So we have everything here, from basic properties, render view, to particle simulations as well, which are physics properties. And right now you can see that my render engine over here is Eevee. And the best part about Eevee, as I told you, is it's a real-time render engine. Now, what does a real-time render engine mean? That whatever materials I apply here right now will be visible to me at this very specific instance without any lag. Whereas it has two more render engines, which is Workbench, which is the second one is a Workbench, which is a Blender basic engine, and it is still experimental. So whenever we put on Workbench and we try to work in it, the renders are either kind of bad or Blender just closes down. So don't use it. And the third one is Cycles. Now, the difference between Eevee and Cycles is that when I click on Cycles, you can see that there is some noise that is occurring here. So Cycles is actually a ray trace engine. That means it has ray tracing. Essentially means that it traces the rays of the sun and it computes how it will look, like this block will look in the presence of real world light. Whereas Eevee doesn't have a built-in sun. Eevee actually just gives you a very realistic look, but it gives you kind of a plastic look, like an animation movie look, right? So that's the basic difference between these two engines. So Eevee is a real-time engine and Cycles is a ray trace engine. So I am going to start with a little bit of text animation. So we just reached, f.y.i reached 5000K, and we did a small 5000, sorry, not 5000K, 5K. We did a small 5K text animation here. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go to not rendered, but a solid one, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is, this is my camera, this is my light, and this is my box. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of this. So whatever is in your viewport right now, you can actually see here, which is nothing. So I will go to the top view, which is, if you click the number 7 on your number pad, you can get that. And this is my top view now. What I'm going to add is Control A which gives me the location, rotation, and scale and transform of everything. Now, everything right now is at 0, 0, which we need to make sure that everything right now is at 0, 0 because it's easier for us. Then I'll add Shift A and add a text. Okay, that's my text. Now, the text is not off center, the origin point is here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to text and I'm going to align it in center and at center. And now I am in object mode. How do I edit this? From object mode, I go to edit mode and I'm just gonna write, what do I write? I'm just gonna write f.y.i arch, f.y.i and arch. And I go to object mode again. So this is it, but this isn't 2D. This is kind of like typing in AutoCAD or Word file. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, as my text is selected, I'm going to go to geometry and I'm going to extrude. So I'm going to extrude it as 0.05, which is not bad. 0. Oh, my numpad's off. Okay. So this is 0.05 and you can see there are little sharp edges over here. So I'm going to offset or bevel depth is a little bit by 0.01. So it is curved now. So this is called bevel and the resolution is 4 and I'm fine with it. What do I do? What do I do with it now? How do I make it move? So there are a few options that we can do with it, but how about we just add a light to it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again control A, add a small light, and I want a point light. So this is my small point light. And again, I want this point light, this little point light to actually move from one place to another, like this, like in a circle, so that it puts its shadow on this f.y.i arch written thingy because it's now extruded. So, but I want it to move in a circle. And what I can do is I can click this. This is called auto keying. I can grab my light, I can grab my point light, and I can start and I can just move it here. So you see a keyframe over here? That's the first keyframe. And I move it to 50. And then again, I grab my point light, I take G, and I move it here. So if I play it backwards, like although I did a semicircular move, it just went from one place to another. This is like the shortest path it took. So we don't want that. Like I don't really want that. I'm gonna delete all the keyframes. There must be a better way to do it. So tab again and I go to my rendered mode. Now what you have to realize is rendered mode needs something. We are in Eevee render engine and there's no sunlight. As I told, Eevee doesn't take from real sun. Eevee has its own sunlight. So we have to specify the sunlight. How is the world going to be? My world background right now is gray. I don't want my world background gray. Let's just get it black. Okay, that's my world background. And now you can see like the light is moving. So it's not bad, but I have no reflections. I have nothing here. So let's add a material here, right? We take this, we go to the material properties browser and just add a new material to it. And let's say I don't want any subsurface color, I don't want anything, I don't even want nodes, I just want a metallic color to it. And just like that, you can see that it's actually reflecting. And okay, I can see a little dot. Now what I need to do is, of course, I want to increase the intensity of light. So I'll get it 50 watts and maybe I'll change the color of the light too. How about this? Ooh, that looks good. But I also want a contrasting color here. So maybe I'll add another point light. So I again go to my solid mode and I want to again add another point light. So I'll add another point light. I'll add another circle and this time I'm going to make it move on the left, right? So there you go. Yeah, this time I just want to make it move like this. Add constraints, follow path, this one. Now again I need to animate this, so That's my keyframe. I get to 100 here. And I add my insert my keyframe, and then I go 60 and I insert my keyframe. So now both of them are moving in opposite directions. Now I go again to my rendered view, and this time I select the other point. Its color is blue, and the other point, maybe it can be orange, maybe. And this has to be 80 now. So if I go here and if I try this, so that's my overall animation. And we don't really have a lot of time right now, but this is the overall animation that we can do. And maybe I'll add another light to it. So solid, add a plane, scale it, and let's see what happens now. What's happening? Yep, there you go. So now it's going to look like this. It's kind of weird. It does need a little bit of better tweaking to it, but yeah, this is like basic. In 15 minutes, you can make an animation look like this.